Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I thank members who have spoken in support of this sensible measure, and I commend this bill to the House.
Excellent speech.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. Aye. The ayes have it. A party vote's called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 votes opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
AG New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
The ayes are 109, the noes are 12. The bill will be read a second time.
Taxation, Land Information and Offshore Persons Information Bill, second reading.
I call on order of the day number 3.
Interrupted debate on the first reading of the Taxation Bright Line Test for Residential Land Bill.
On the last occasion, the House was considering this bill. The Honourable Hekia Parata was speaking on behalf of the Minister and has 9 minutes 30 seconds remaining to speak. A point of order, Grant Roberts.
Mr Speaker, I see that, and I know as in the context of this point of order, I hope you'll allow me to do this, I see that the Minister who began the speech is not in the House, and I draw your attention to Standing Order 287, which says that the member moving a bill's first reading must, on the commencement of that member's speech, nominate the Select Committee to consider the bill and then talk about any special powers or instructions that are required. As I recall, I was in the House when the Minister was about to do that and was in, I suspect, in the middle of the referral motion. It was certainly one of those referral motions that had both a shortened time frame and also the request for the House to allow the committee to meet when the House was sitting and on Fridays and so on. And I just wonder, Mr Speaker, seek your guidance on what happens when that Minister who is the person noted under Standing Order 287 is no longer here, whether or not that the Minister has to complete it, or can another Minister complete it. I'm unaware of whether this happens before, but it seems like a very unusual situation, particularly when the Minister, I'm not even sure had completed her introduction of the bill.
Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I think the important thing to note here is that the question hasn't yet been proposed. It is true that the Honourable Hekia Parata did commence the speech on behalf of the Minister. McGee is very clear that a Minister must introduce a bill if he or she is responsible for it, unless he or she is unable to do so. That was certainly the case the last time this bill was being considered, but it had literally just commenced. The Minister in charge of the bill is now here. The question hasn't been proposed, and I submit, therefore, that the Minister in charge of the bill must be the person who continues to move this particular part of the first reading.
Grant Robertson.
And I understand the point that the member's making, but I think he slightly missed the point I was making, which was that it's not a matter of who was or wasn't here at the time. Minister Parata began this bill. She moved what is specifically required under Standing Order 287. And that's my concern, is that I'm not sure that we've had even completed that. We're now going to have a different Minister stand up, and I think we could be outside of Standing Order 287. And, Mr Speaker, I perhaps invite you to consider a ruling on this matter.